We've got a lot to talk about on today's show, and that's a pretty good reason why you should subscribe if you have not already. Listen, when Deion Jones got traded last night, I was doing a video from my kitchen. Every single game, we do a live watch party. Plus, we keep you up to date on the latest news and rumors. And best of all, we give back to our subscribers here at the channel. Stay tuned to the end of today's show for a little surprise I've got cooked up for everyone. So hit that big red button if you have not already. Welcome into the 2-3 Cleveland Browns report, and honestly, I don't even know why I put it on screen. I hate looking at that score. It should be 31-30, Cleveland 3-2, knocking off the Chargers. Instead, a lot of things went wrong. It was not just Cade York. He's not off the hook. He missed two pretty big field goals, but a lot happened before then that led to the loss. So we're going to run through a lot today. We're going to talk about the Deion Jones trade in more detail. Ndamukong Suh, everyone's beating that drum. Plus, Deshaun Watson can return to the team facility, and we'll even get on Kevin Stefanski a little bit. Now, before we get into today's show, our Bernie heads that are a scale of believability as we sort of run through some news and rumors on today's show. If you have not joined us before, here's how it works. 0 Bernie heads is fake news. The story has no truth to it. 4 Bernie heads is Believeland. It's an absolute fact. And then we fall somewhere in between quite often. So, the first rumor story I want to get to. Should the Browns go out and sign Ndamukong Suh? Give it 4 Bernie heads. What do you have to lose? It quite literally could not get any worse. I'm going to throw some stats your guys' way, but I think the Browns, whether it's Ndamukong Suh or someone else, have to make a change. They have to go out and make an improvement to this defensive line that right now has 2 stars in Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney that clearly were far from 100% yesterday. Garrett did not look like he was running at 100%. Clowney is still nursing an ankle injury. And on the interior, it's bad. Elliott's not it. Taven Bryan's the best guy you've got, and he's still not really a notable NFL starting defensive tackle. Tommy Togiai needs to be locked in a small closet away from First Energy Stadium. Perrion Winfrey's not too bad. He's had 2 good games the last 2 weeks, but he's still not a starting or, every down caliber defensive tackle in the NFL just yet. I want to throw you this stat right now. I want to show you guys what the Chargers' run game has looked like this year. On the left is weeks 1 through 4, where they were the worst running team in the NFL, averaging 2.7 yards a carry. What did they do against the Browns? They averaged 7. They nearly had more yards in week 5 than weeks 1 through 4 combined. That's got to be a huge red flag. And I don't think a Deion Jones trade is enough to really fill that gap. One, Jones as a linebacker who specializes in coverage more so. He's going to help against the run, but he's not going to be clogging up the A-gap like Ndamukong Suh could be standing over the center of the opposing team. There has to be more that gets done. Pro Football Focus, like him or hate him, I think they're on the money right now in terms of their ranks of interior defensive linemen for the Browns. When Taven Bryan's the best and he's 87, not even top half, that's a problem. When you've got the worst and the second worst guys, one of them starting for you, that's a bigger problem. So now we land at Ndamukong Suh. And honestly, if you don't like Suh, you can find a different name and we'll look at some other options. But we're talking about someone who has been reliable his entire career. He has never missed a game due to injury. And I know the off-the-field stuff, guys, the Thanksgiving or whatever it was incident with Detroit was a decade ago. Move on, all right? 6 sacks last year for the Bucs, 12 sacks in his last 2 seasons. He's definitely a good pass rusher, but he can help against the run. And more importantly, you got to try something. Because right now, this current unit is not working. There has to be a change. Let me throw this question your way before we get any deeper into this conversation. Should the Browns sign Ndamukong Suh? S for sign or P for pass? Let me know what you're thinking in the comments. Like I've been saying all video long, changes have to be made to this personnel. You want to blame Joe Woods? fine. Joe Woods is responsible for a certain level of this defense underperforming. But Joe Woods cannot do anything about their defensive line getting pushed off the football against a Chargers team that was literally last in the NFL at rushing the football. 2.7 yards per carry through 4 weeks. And then they basically triple that in week 5 against the Browns. Make coaching changes, fine. New coach isn't going to come in here and wave a wand and make Jordan Elliott and Tommy Togiai better. At least not better enough to make a drastic improvement. Changes have to be made to this personnel. Brad Stainbrook, he has been on the Ndamukong Suh beat for months now, replying to someone asking him about Suh's availability, saying, Browns have been exploring defensive tackles all season from time to time. Might be age, might be money, who knows. But team as of last Friday has yet to reach back out to Suh. Sounds like Suh has a flight booked to Cleveland, and he's just waiting to board it. If it's not Ndamukong Suh, if you don't like the fact that he's up there in the age column, one, you're not going to find many younger cats out there, but that's fine. Here are 5 other names I put together that are worth looking at. 1, a familiar face in Sheldon Richardson, Linval Joseph, Malcolm Brown, another familiar face, and Malik Jackson, star Lotulelei. We're talking about some notable names, guys that are up there in age for sure, but it's October. You're not going to find a 25-year-old defensive tackle who's ready to come in and start. That's the name of the game when you have an issue that was not properly addressed in the offseason, and you go in on a hope and a prayer that it works in the regular season, and you fall flat on your face. Next segment on today's show, the Deion Jones trade. Is it going to help this Browns defense? I'm going to give it 3 Bernie heads. I'm not going to go all the way to 4 and say it's a slam dunk and it's an absolute fact, but I think there's a lot of hope and optimism that Deion Jones can come in here and help tidy things up defensively for the Browns. Here are the exact trade details, by the way. Falcons getting a 2024 6th-round pick from the Browns. Meanwhile, Cleveland getting back Deion Jones and a 7th. So it's a late pick swap for these two teams. The Browns ultimately, I wouldn't say did the Falcons a favor because they're not taking out much money from Deion Jones' contract, but we knew a trade was coming. Deion Jones got shoulder surgery this offseason. He did not participate much being put on the PUP list. He was on IR to start the year, awaiting a trade, and it was just a matter of when. And the Falcons, when you've got someone who's already requested a trade and the entire world knows it, you lose a lot of leverage. So here's what this linebacker room looks like right now. JOK, just God bless you. You are the only constant right now in this defense, you could argue. Jacob Phillips, it only took 2 starts for Andrew Berry to, in a way, give up on his own 3rd-round pick out of LSU. Taki, I don't have much of a grievance with him or really a big complaint to be had. I think Taki's Taki. If you wanted more, shame on you for expecting more. I don't think he's been the biggest problem on this defense. He definitely didn't come and bring A-plus football with him so far this year, but replacing him isn't going to really change a whole lot. Right now, Deion Jones is going to come in and replace essentially Anthony Walker, who the Browns sorely miss. And it's not like the Browns were perfect under Walker, but they were better than the last 2 weeks here. All right, Deion Jones' last 4 seasons, he's been a good pass coverage linebacker. The issue is he had a bad injury back in 2018. And anytime you draft a coverage linebacker, once they get up in the age column and approach, he's 28, season 6, 7, 8, GMs are terrified of their knees not being what they were when they drafted them out of college back in 2016 for Deion Jones' case, and they're ready to bail after the previous regime, in this case the Falcons, or before the current regime, gave him a big contract extension, and that's not the direction Atlanta wants to go. All right, some more finances to look at here for all of you nerds. Tom Pelissero tweeting out the details saying the Falcons will carry on a $12.1 million dead cap hit. As for the Browns, they owe him his base salary this year, divided by 17, minus 5 games that have already been played. I'm not going to do that math for you. It's $1.39 million. You can get your calculator out and do it for me because I didn't go to college for math. I did it to talk YouTube and drink Dirty Dog Bowls. All right, let's move on here. Next segment on the show. Stefanski? Is he on the hot seat? Just one Bernie head. That's my personal opinion on Stefanski. I know there is a good contingent of Browns fans out there that are fed up and done with Kevin Stefanski. To you, I say, can we not go through a head coaching carousel every other year, it feels like? You got a coach right now in Stefanski whose offense is averaging 26.6 points per game with a backup quarterback. Is he perfect? No. He mishandles some key moments in the game. And that's a flag. That's a big red flag. I'm not pardoning that. But I don't think that is cause for termination. I think that is cause for he has to improve in those areas. Like QB dive, QB sneak with Jacoby Brissett on your half of the field. Don't give it to Kareem Hunt and go back 5 yards to go forward 2 inches. Brissett's automatic on the QB sneaks. That was a mishandling on his part right there. But at the end of the day, his offense is putting up numbers with a backup QB, and I'm not about to run out the coach who's doing that because of some shortcomings elsewhere. He's not Belichick or Andy Reid, but who are you going to get that is right now, right? Just dial it down for a little bit. If these problems continue all season long of pissing games away at the end because of bad situational football by the Browns, we can revisit this conversation later. But 5 weeks in, no. They're not going to go Matt Rule on the whole operation. Now, what do you have to say here? Do you believe in Kevin Stefanski? Y for yes, N for no. I'm not advocating for him to be the Browns head coach for the next 10 years. I'm advocating for you guys to put your pitchforks down and give him more than 5 weeks where he's had an offense putting up nearly 4 touchdowns with a backup QB. All right, let's turn the page and get to the Deshaun Watson news right now as he returns to a degree, right? He's now allowed to return to the team facility, get some rehab in if he needs any, attend some meetings with the coaches and whatnot, but he cannot attend any practices. He can't go to group workouts. This is the first of 3 milestones he has to go through until he's able to resume playing for the Browns week 13 against the Texans. He can begin practicing on November 14th, so that's about a month away from this point, but it's good to see him back. I know the players are excited about it. Now, Ian Rapoport did a very interesting write-up, and I pulled this quote, and I want you guys to see it. During his suspension, Watson has been throwing for about 90 minutes at an Ohio gym 3 days per week, Tuesday through Thursday, doing his best to simulate how a team practice would operate during a game week. The workouts run by his personal QB coach, Quincy Avery, include local receivers who played in college, mostly at the Division II level. So if you're wondering, hey, has Watson just been sitting on his couch this whole time watching Red Zone? On Sunday, yeah, he really is just like you and I. He's not at the game. He's watching on TV. He's been tweeting about the games. But during the week, he's been staying busy. He has been working out, and he's been doing everything he can to the best of his abilities to keep himself in football shape here. Now, we've got more things to get to on today's agenda, but first, Fanatics, our proud sponsor, has such a great deal for you guys. When you go to chatsports.com/brownshirt, jerseys are expensive. You know what's much more affordable? Custom t-shirt jerseys. Jerseys for short, so if you want to get a Nick Chubb t-shirt jersey, a JOK Myles Garrett, but you don't want to pony up the $100+ for an NFL jersey, this is the best workaround. So get yours today, chatsports.com/brownshirt. That link is in the comments and the description of today's show. All right, other things I want to get across today here. Zach Jackson from The Athletic tweeting this out after the game yesterday. Brissett asked if Watson being allowed to return to the facility will provide an emotional boost. Quote, shit, I hope so. Be good to see him. Yeah, I don't think it can really do much damage. I think having Deshaun Watson back, granted in a limited capacity, he's not going to walk in there and have words of wisdom to make this team put up 90 unanswered next week against New England. But I think at this point, a 2-3 football team can use all of the veteran leadership they can get right now. So let's show some love to Deshaun Watson as he begins to make his return to, or I don't know if return's the right word, but his debut of sorts, whatever the word I'm looking for is, type 4 in the comments section below, welcoming him back, I guess, to Berea, whatever. All right. Now, before we sign off, last week, week and change ago, when the Myles Garrett car accident happened, I gave a pledge to you guys for all of our new subscribers and anyone that comments 95 on the video. I will be writing a letter to Myles Garrett, and that's exactly what I did here. Want to show you guys the letter right there. Mailed it a couple days ago. Hopefully he gets it soon. Just didn't get a chance to show it over the weekend during the game and whatnot, but it's off and running. So, hey, if anyone watching right now is a Postal Service member, first off, I love the post office. Second off, make sure this gets to the right hands, please. So, hey, if you know the postal guy for the Browns in Berea, make sure this gets to Myles Garrett. All right, we're going to sign off. Let you guys enjoy the rest of your Monday. All I can say right now is we're on to New England, right? Beat the Patriots. Producer Nick Roloff's Pats. They beat the crap out of the Lions. Bailey Zappi season is going to come to a crashing halt, a big burn against this Browns defense, hopefully. Hit that big red button, subscribe, signing off. Seeing all you guys later.